it up quickly, but the Pirate defense sets back in that 2-3 zone.
East Carolina is going to have to get back on defense quickly, like they did that last possession.
They're battling deep inside. Brian Rowson going up against Derek Battle. Looked like he put his elbow and right quickly. The official trying to take control of the ball game, called the offensive foul.
Brian Rowson's a very aggressive player who fights hard for position underneath. He's doing a lot more of that this year, and hopefully he doesn't get caught for fouls like that. He'll be out of the game early.
He's going leading 3-0 on the attack. Baseline driving off William Grady's foot out of bounds for the Seahawks.
It's a careless turnover. They got to be more patient.
One of the problems with this East Carolina team is that they have a tendency to get out of control. And if these 5 seniors can play with poise, they certainly can play with Wilmington and pull off the upset. Sandy Anderson off to Bender for 2.
Nice perimeter shooting. Nice shooting to bring out that East Carolina zone and back into a man.
3-2 the score. East Carolina leading UNCW. In the matchups here, Sandy Anderson against Fled. Maybe with Marcel on the point, they'll try speaking to Marcel with the jump shot.
He's got a beautiful stroke, doesn't he? He gets the ball on the wing. He's got confidence that he can hit that shot and he can also penetrate. He's just one fine athlete. He's really developed to a great basketball player.
5-2 in favor of the Pirates. Another whistle off the ball. This time it looks like they got Marcel Henry. Check that, Derek Battle. Battling against Brian Rowson inside. Already starting to get physical down in the low post.
Well, it is. There's Robert McPherson, and he doesn't want to see his top gun get in foul trouble, that's for sure. He's got 1 foul already, and we're talking about Rowson. Going to try to be patient and get the ball to him inside. That's the first look for the Seahawks, is to try to get the ball inside. If they don't have it, then they have their perimeter shooting.
Seahawks bringing Brian Rowson outside. Sandy Anderson checks it over to Bender.
That zone has really been effective early in the game here and is able to keep Rowson from getting it.
Long rebound after Bender's shot. Sandy Anderson chases it down. Gary to Cherry. Cleared out by Marcel Henry. Back comes East Carolina quickly.
Marcel Henry, what a penetration move. He gets the rebound, takes the coast to coast. That's the kind of athlete we said at the start of the game that he is capable of making those kind of moves.
Marcel Henry with his 4th point of the ball game gives East Carolina a 5-point lead at 7-2. I also mentioned it was important for UNCW to shoot well early in this ball game. Mark Gary misses the 3-pointer. Bender chases it down in the corner. They'll reset it.
UNCW is getting a lot of long rebounds. That is one good sign that a team that's hustling, they can pick up those loose balls, and they're getting early loose balls.
Everywhere Brian Rowson goes, he's wearing 3 purple jerseys. Shot taken by Sandy Anderson, partially blocked that time, I believe, by William Grady, cleared out by the Pirates. Steal by Mark Gary. He'll take it back up, but the numbers aren't right. He'll have to hold and set up the offense. Anderson for 2.
Anderson's had 2 attempts at the basket. He's been a foot short on both of them. Anderson was a 2-guard early in the season, and now he's playing both 1 and 2. He's going to have to be more patient on his shot.
I think one of the problems UNCW's had during arenas like this is shooting the ball. There's no backdrop. Battle for the rebound. Leon Bass with his 1st rebound of the game, and that may be a very big foul. Battling against Brian Rowson, it looked like Brian reached across and got his hand. That is his 2nd personal foul.
Well, Brian Rowson got this foul because he didn't do his job early. He's got to check off. Leon Bass, we mentioned, has a lot of confidence against him. He's going to have to be more effective before the shot gets up, checking his man off. A critical foul for UNCW.
One good factor in favor of the Seahawks the last 2 times these 2 teams met, Brian was not feeling very well, had 101 temperature that day. UNCW played somewhat well without him in the lineup as much as they'd like, but they certainly would play a lot better with him there. Leon Bass makes the first. Mark Gary with another one of those long rebounds off the free throw. Rob Wagner has checked in at point guard for the Seahawks. Kevin Miles will be taking Charles Cherry's place at forward. gone in the first half. UNCW trails by a score of 8-2. Have not been shooting the ball very effectively. Miles inside, turns over Marcel Henry and gets the bucket.
UNCW was patient there and got the ball inside.
Kevin Miles with his first 2 points of the ball game cuts the lead in half down to 8-4. Henry setting up. Seahawks now running a 1-2-1 almost, Kevin. Looks like they're trying to get some pressure on the wings. Stop that dribble penetration. Another foul called. Again in the area of Brian Rowson. But this time I think they're going to get Kevin Miles for reaching across.
Well, one thing East Carolina's going to do is take the ball inside. They can penetrate well and now put a lot of pressure on Brian Rowson. The other players in the team have got to shape up their defense and really tighten it up so those opportunities at the basket will present Rowson with more opportunities for fouls.
Lob goes inside. Leon Bass with the miss. Cleared out by Bender. Rob Wagner takes it up quickly. Mark Gary covered in the corner by Grady. Inside, the lob goes to Rowson. Fights underneath.
There it is. They finally were able to get the ball in. A nice lob pass. See his skills underneath. Once he gets it, it's either a foul or 2 points.
Brian Rowson with his first 2 points in the ball game. 8-6 to score. UNCW cutting the lead down to 2. Sledge open on the reverse side over there, but has not been shooting the ball well of late. Goes up for 3 here.
Three-pointer.
Keith Sledge, you know, had knee problems and is still one of the better defenders in the CAA, but they say that he doesn't have the spring for his jump shot. There he looked very well to me.
He got off the floor awful good on that shot.
Greg Bender out front looking inside to Rowson. Gary left open for 3. Third out by William Grady. That's the shot that UNCW wants. They want to get Mark Gary open for the three-pointer, but so far UNCW not shooting very well.
No, and that's why the zone's just moving back further and further inside.
Leon Bass.
You said it, Bill. He's got confidence, and he's showing it right here as he's shooting the ball very nicely. Rowson's going to have to come out a lot further on the floor now and guard him.
Leon Bass with his 3rd point of the ball game. Whistle on the wing. Looks like 35, Derek Battle called with the foul. And with that, we have a timeout on the floor. We'll be back at the Hampton Coliseum with the first round of CAA right after this.
All right, the week's over. Yeah, and the weekend's just beginning.
Come on, we'll show you how a good time goes. We're going to a place where they talk shows. Cause a good time's better with a good time beer. And Stroh's is smoking here.
Here's how the good times get better. Stroh's and Stroh Light 15 and 30 packs. A convenient package at a special value. Get them wherever you buy your beer.
Stroh's is smoking here.
Watch out for the new kid in town.
All-Star Chevrolet, where if you drive a little, you save a lot. All-Star's a new kid in town and has to sell for less. Every Sprint, every Monte Carlo, every Cavalier, every celebrity is discounted every day. Best of all, you need just $99 down and a payment of around $125 per month. Just about everybody's credit is good at All-Star Chevrolet, 5820 Washington Boulevard.
Back at the Hampton Coliseum, and you see in your picture a man that certainly, Kevin, can appreciate the physical inside play early in the ball game, Jeff Ruland, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Jeff Ruland, a former teammate of mine, has had such a great career with the Washington Bullets. Is struggling right now with an injury to the 76ers. He's down here in Hampton scouting for the 76ers.
Well, it's a battle of the NBA Atlantic Divisions as the Bullets battle the New Jersey Nets Wednesday night on Home Team Sports. Join Mel Proctor and Phil Chenier live from the Cap Center for all the excitement. Tip-off set for 7:30 following the Bullets report at 7 p.m. 13-6, UNCW trailing by 7 against the East Carolina Pirates, and I guess this is an early tip-off. East Carolina shooting 62% in the early going.
But we said on the opening, they're a good shooting team. ECU. They're just going to have to maintain that good outside shooting if they want to upset the UNCW.
Seahawks have hit only one of their first 8 shots. Working the ball down low inside to Brian Rowson. Making a good move to the hoop, just quite can't get it to the bucket. Back the other way comes Marcel Henry. Into the corner it goes. Lou Edwards checking into the East Carolina lineup.
To force that pass, got to be more patient. He came into the game, and that's not a good pass to make.
Ball out of bounds off Tracy King, who is also checked into the ECU lineup. A lot of changes early for Robert McPherson and his team, and now Charlie Harrison has gone to the ECU bench. Greg Bender.
They needed that. They were very cold here early in the first half. They're going to get open shots like that. The zone has really moved closer to the basket. They're allowing those 18-foot jumpers.
4 points for Greg Bender, the kind of player Coach McPherson says will do just whatever you need him to do, and right now they need someone to hit the bucket, and he has done that. Tracy King from the baseline. Anderson hustles down the rebound. Back the other way goes Wagner. More or less a controlled break for the UNCW Seahawks right now. Whistle again off the ball, down on the baseline. And it looks like that they're going to get Tracy King with a push on Brian Rowson. Charlie Harrison didn't quite like the call, but it is getting rather physical, as we mentioned, on that baseline. And right now, you'd have to think it would work toward the East Carolina Pirates, because Brian Rowson may pick up that 3rd foul just trying to get back for something.
East Carolina's being very physical with their zone inside, limiting the amount of times that Rowson can get his hands on the ball.
Rob Wagner shot for the key. Andy Anderson had his hands on the rebound, but Henry clears back on the break. There is one of the reasons that Marcel Henry began his career as a forward, I think.
Yeah, but he didn't handle the break very well there. He is a good ball handler, although the ball did get away from him, and he was called for an air dribble or a travel.
Right now, East Carolina's turned the ball over 4 times. UNCW only 1, and that is what has kept them in the ball game. Not shooting very well. Bender has it on the wing. That's way high. Miles at the top of the key. And it goes to Rowson with a turnaround. Brian Rowson. His 4th point.
He has a fretfully touch in there. When he gets the ball around the box and he turns for his shot, he really does have a nice soft touch. He'll bring up their shooting percentage if they can get the ball to him.
East Carolina working on the offense against the 2-3 zone by UNCW that has really been pushed further out than you would think against a team that doesn't shoot as well outside as the Pirates, but I guess they're trying to cut off that penetrating dribble. Inside it goes to Bass, knocked away. Whistle call. Looks like the ball was knocked out of Bass's hand cleanly, but when they went to run it down, Greg Bender reached across his arm and drew the foul. Bender's 1st foul, 15th foul against the Seahawks. Henry will bring the ball inbounds. Once again, they go right into Leon Bass, who was guarded there by little Rob Wagner. Ball knocked away.
Wagner and Bender doing a good job of, once the ball gets into the big man, they're collapsing and swiping at the ball. Once the ball is put on the floor by the big man of East Carolina, those little guards are in there getting pesky and trying to knock the ball away.
East Carolina attack baseline goes Blue Edwards. Ball for the offensive charge.
Strong move by Blue Edwards. He's a 6th man for East Carolina, but plays about 30 minutes a game. Here he makes a nice baseline move to his left and goes up. He did charge. The defense was there. A nice aggressive offensive move, and you don't mind those type of moves and those kind of fouls.
Edwards struggling in both the early games against the Seahawks. One of the keys that East Carolina felt is that he could get off to a good start, and he'd get his confidence against this team and help them. Miles looks inside to Rowson. Rowson again drawing 3 players. Pass forced inside, knocked away. Marcel Henry comes away with it.
Rowson was really attracting a crowd in there. The only other player in the conference that gets that kind of attention is David Robinson.
It's hard to tell early in the ballgame whether Rowson's wearing a gold jersey or a purple jersey right now. Inside, Leon Bass caught an elbow in the eye, and the break goes the other way. Rob Wagner takes it. Sandy Anderson on the follow. Down the other end of the court, though, Leon Bass, who tried to make an offensive move and looked like he caught an elbow in his eye, and it looks pretty serious.
I really didn't see it. Let's see what happened here. Leon Bass, of course, he's got a crowd himself. gets hit in the eye.
Looks like Rob Wagner's hand went up and maybe knocked out a contact lens. I noticed that Terry Middleton, the Seahawk trainer, came right over and picked something up off the floor. Certainly that would be a serious blow to the Pirates if he could not continue because of that, because he has been one of the better players in the last 3 ball games, playing the best basketball of his career, as a matter of fact.
Here's Charlie Harrison. He mentioned to one of the referees that his player does wear contacts.
They're wiping out his eye now, so hopefully that's all it is, a loose contact. And of course, all teams carry spares for those, especially for the star players. Robert McPherson on the Seahawk bench right now has to be very concerned, though, about how physical this ball game is, because there's one player they cannot afford to lose. He's already picked up 2 fouls, and as we mentioned, anytime that you have a situation like this, Kevin, where the players are banging against each other, even if your player's not doing the banging, he's going to turn and an elbow's going to fly out and he's going to get caught for a foul by the referees.
Well, Ralston's got to be very patient and very under control because of the tension he's subtracting. He can't be too over-aggressive early in the game. This game, you know, is 40 minutes, so he's going to have to be patient.
Bass walks off the court, goes to the end of the East Carolina bench where they're working on his eyes. I've got a good feeling he'll be back in this ball game. 13-12 our score. UNCW has cut the lead down to 1. As many as 7 in this first half. 9:35 left to play. 22, John Williams in it now. Inside it goes to Blue Edwards. Strong move from Blue Edwards.
Oh boy, that was a heck of a move. That was Major League. He took the ball with power and strength and exploded off the court for that jump.
Kevin Miles down to Rob Wagner. Wagner inside to Rowson. Rowson turns, not having the shooting touch right now. Another whistle blown down on the baseline after the shot had cleared. Sandy Anderson called for the hold.
I think one of the reasons for these fouls is that these guys know that this could be their last game. And when it's tournament time, there's no tomorrow. Both teams are 0-0. And they want to go out and try to win this game. Certainly, East Carolina wants to win. One reason for their coach, Charlie Harrison, who announced his resignation during midseason. So this might even be his last game.
It's also got to be a situation where they're more confident because what have they got to lose? Let's go out and play our game. I've got a feeling that that has got to also be working in their favor right now. Ball knocked away by Rob Wagner, picked up by Sandy Anderson for the layup.
Sandy Anderson at the right place at the right time. He's a spark for UNCW.
Credit that steal to Rob Wagner, who got his hand on the ball and knocked it away. Anderson just always seems to be in the right place when UNCW goes on the break and got the layup off the defensive play. Williams looking inside to Edwards. Sledge from long distance. Battle for the rebound inside. Blue Edwards called for the foul. Looked like he got actually the ball they're down to saying was knocked out of bounds.
Here you see the last steal. Wagner knocks it out at the right time.
Anderson with the breakaway layup. 15-14. UNCW looking to take their first lead of the ball game. Kicked out of bounds. Not in a intentional kick, so they'll not reset the shot clock. Stays at 25. Still looking to get the ball inside. UNCW not looking for the outside shot as much anymore after that 1-8 start. Anderson trying to create, draws the charge.
Well, Anderson and Rowson do a good job playing that two-man game. You saw there Rowson kicked it back out to Anderson. Harry had the shot. He should have taken it, but he didn't. And then he goes on and Sandy Anderson and missed the charge.
Sandy Anderson.
Yeah, you have to take what the defense gives you, and if there's 3 guys on Rowson and that open shot's there, despite missing him, you got to go ahead and hit him.
Sandy Anderson with his second foul. East Carolina now in the bonus situation. Marcel Henry goes line shooting 1-1. 75% free throw shooter. Kansas first. Rowson clearing the rebound on the miss. UNCW certainly seems to be very tight in the early going in this ball game, and as we mentioned, East Carolina, with the feeling they don't have much to lose, playing very loose and aggressive basketball.
Well, they're a dangerous team. UNCW didn't get any bargain being the second team in the conference to play the 7th seed, East Carolina, because, like you said, they have nothing to lose. I remember when Sonny Smith, the coach of Auburn, when he announced his resignation, his team was a mediocre team. They went on to win the SEC tournament, or they ended up in the Mid-East Regional Finals.
2 turnovers there. Sandy Anderson finally ends up with the ball. Once again, it seems UNCW is able to get the ball to where Brian Rowson is, but he doesn't seem to be in a good spot to score. In the meantime, he's got 3 guys around him knocking the ball away.
But part of that problem is because his teammates are not hitting that outside shot. So East Carolina can gamble and say, go ahead, beat us from outside.
So with the score, East Carolina 16, UNCW 14. We'll be back right after these messages.
Through the cold of winter, whenever your family needs it, the Lennox Pulse Gas Furnace sends gentle heartbeats of steady, quiet, even warmth throughout your home. No other furnace heats like it. No open flame, near total efficiency. The Pulse was developed by Lennox, the efficiency experts who care for your family's comfort and safety. With the Lennox Pulse, you know you have the best. At the heart of your family's comfort, no furnace heats like the Lennox Pulse.
The greatest example of angles and the coverage that HTS has would be a normal steal, where you'll see the steal from center field camera looking in from the outfield, and then you'll get 3 replays. The 3 replays are completely different than what you saw on the air. So you've covered every angle. The people at home can make their call same as the umpires made his call, but we had fun with it because we want to see it too.
Back at Hampton Coliseum with the East Carolina Pirates, the turning 7th seed lead, 2nd seeded East UNCW 16-14, and we were talking during the break, this is a hard game to get a handle on. I don't think this game has turned out the way either coach at this particular time thought it would. And right now, Brian Rowson also with 2 fouls, and Leon Bass out of the game with an eye injury has really changed the tempo and the way this game has started to shape up.
Well, there's Leon Bass. The doctor's conferring over him. He looks like he is hurt bad. I don't know if we'll see him back in the game, and that's certainly going to hurt East Carolina's cause. But you're right, the game has been sloppy, it's been poor shooting.
Inside once again, Brian Rowson does not get the roll.
He's getting some good shots now in there, and he normally just cans those, and he hasn't been able to hit them.
Marshall Henry forcing the action inside, battle for the rebound. They say it's off of East Carolina. After that play, Brian Rowson kind of banging his hands together in frustration. As you said, the shots are there, and those are normally shots that Brian would make. However, he just can't seem to get the iron to be soft enough to let the ball roll in.
Well, the good thing is that he's able to get those shots, and still another half to go.
6:40 left in the first half. Sandy Anderson working against William Grady. Grady bodying up to him, gets called for the foul. That's his first, only the 15th foul against the Pirates. UNCW will bring the ball inbounds. Back into the UNCW lineup is Charles Cherry at the forward position. Mark Gary, the shooting guard, back in number 15. Seals looking to reverse the ball to Gary, but to get it inside instead to Rowson. That time it looked like Rowson, instead of working the baseline, worked back into the paint.
You're right about that. He tried a different position on the court where he received the ball right in the paint. That's a better angle for your shot. Those baseline jumpers are hard to hit.
Reaching foul called against Henry. That's only his first foul. 16th foul. Rowson will get 2. Well, Ralston, one of the better shooting big men at the free throw line. Last 3 games, though, has not had his touch, and part of that has been his illness. He suffered last week a severe ear injury, and scored 17 points in limited minutes Monday night against George Mason. There he comes back and gets the second free throw. 16-15. East Carolina lead is 1. Baseline. William Grady.
Fine move by Grady. He was able to penetrate the zone, the 1-2-2 zone that the Seahawks went into the last possession.
Grady, a senior who was a starter in his sophomore year and scored over 400 points, setting a record at the school for that. Back in the lineup in a situation where he could be hungry to play. Sandy Anderson called
for travel there, and I just don't see. He had his shot. He didn't take it. They're taking the second option. When defense gives you that open jumper, go ahead and take it. Ralston's an outstanding rebounder on the board, and you know, he's going to get some of those missed attempts. They just got to keep shooting the ball.
Ralston on the bench now, checking in Kevin Miles for the Seahawks. Will be running the middle. Good opportunity for them to give Ralston a rest with Bass, as we said, out with an eye injury right now. A real point guard out there for East Carolina right now, and Marcel Henry goes to the low post. Inside, Blue Edwards with a strong move inside. Basket is good. Foul.
This wasn't very pretty, really. Blue Edwards just happened to get the loose ball, but does make a terrific move as he uses his body nicely to avoid the charge. He has great body control. You see him slide to the right and lay the ball softly off the glass.
Second foul on Greg Bender. Blue Edwards now has 4 points in the ballgame and is off to a good start, which the Pirates thought would be important for their efforts. 21-15, lead back to 6 for the Pirates.
East Carolina goes into a 2-2-1 zone full court trap, and it's effective as it causes a turnover early.
Ball slipping through the hands of Kevin Miles, who had turned his head to look down court where Charles Cherry had set up for a possible easy bucket, but you got to catch it before you can throw it.
Well, you know, East Carolina will put that trap on again off of a made basket.
East Carolina going back to where they were in the first of the year, working both Edwards and Marcel Henry inside. Charging foul called against William Grady. That is Grady's second foul. He's picked up 2 quick ones. A little bit out of control on the baseline. I'm
surprised East Carolina, after getting that turnover with their 2-2-1 press, they aren't back in it. They resort back to the zone, 1-2-2 zone.
East Carolina going to the press usually after made baskets and free throws. Certainly looked good on that last time down the court. Inside it goes to Kevin Miles. Battle for the rebound. 2 Seahawks have it. Charles Cherry misses his shot, has the rebound tipped out of his hand. Henry back on the break. Maybe a little bit too quick. Henry going to Grady, trying to create something. Looked like he was out of bounds.
It wasn't Brady's fault on that. Henry got a little bit out of control. He had a nice number game, but he wasn't patient with the ball and forced a bad pass.
One of the problems that East Carolina has had all year is the fact that they have a tendency to play out of control. They get the lead, and they, instead of playing within themselves and doing what they normally do, it seems they try to do things more than they can. Right now, turnover situation.
Yeah, turnover 10-6. East Carolina reflects just what you said. They're a little bit out of control.
They only had 11 turnovers in their last game against James Madison, which they upset the Dukes. Right now it's 10. But they do have a lead, 21-15. Gary from 2. Still can't find it.
There's a lid on that basket for UNCW. They can get nothing for themselves outside.
21-15, East Carolina with the lead and the ball. Running a little bit of a triangle down there with Edwards and Marcel Henry. Baseline, it goes to Marcel, back up to 22, inside to Edwards.
He's East Carolina did a great job. Everybody on the team touched the ball that last possession. It gives the team confidence, and they were able to get a good shot. Result of that good team play.
23-15. East Carolina's rolled off 7 straight points. Greg Bender with the three-pointer can't get it. Mark Gary, a little guard underneath rebounding. Charles Cherry back up. Is fouled.
Well, if you're a UNCW fan, they're having a tough night on the boards. Here, the smallest player on the team gets the daggone rebound, but he's still not able to put it in. Finally, the reach-in foul. They may have to try to get their points from the free throw line because they're just not getting any field goals.
Charles Cherry, a 60% free throw shooter, goes to the line. 2 shots. The string of 7 straight points by the Pirates that had pushed them to a 23-15 lead. Now 23-16. Important with Brian Rowson back in the lineup right now. It is important for Charles Cherry to work well down low, I would think, and help him out on the boards where he doesn't pick up another quick foul here in the final 3 minutes of the first half. 23-17, East Carolina on the attack. Marshall Henry working the wing now. Rowson back in, and they move just a little bit further out of the back of the basket. Walking call against Derek Battle. Good strategy, though, on the part of Charlie Harrison, I would think, to move Battle a little bit further away so that he can penetrate. And in that penetration, possibly again draw a foul for one of the inside men against UNCW.
That's Charlie Harrison's thinking now here at the end of the first half, is to try to, at every possibility, try to take the ball to Rowson. But you know he's not going to be too aggressive.
Gary from three-point land. No good. Bender inside with a rebound. And the lid stays on. Rowson finally back up. Rowson again. In and out. I think Coach McPherson's going to get a broom and stick it up through that hoop to see if there is an opening left there after that sequence. Rowson finally inside. 7 points for Brian Rowson. The lead is 4 for East Carolina.
And who would have thought 18 minutes they'd only have 19 points. They're a pretty high-scoring team in the conference. And UNCW is a lot more potent offensively than they've shown in this first half.
2 minutes left in the first half. 2 minutes.
That sequence, I think, demonstrated the inability for them to shoot, and that shot by Marshall Henry shows how East Carolina came out of the gates with 62% in the early going, and has helped them to a 25-19 lead. Henry's 7th point. Back into the ballgame comes number 44, Tracy King, for the Pirates. 6'6" freshman playing in front of the home folks here in Hampton, Virginia. Anderson walks it up. UNCW still looking to get Gary loose in the corner.
Of course, East Carolina's just daring those players to take that shot.
Greg Bender with a three-pointer.
That from him.
Greg Bender with his 7th point. Cuts the lead to 25-22 East Carolina. 1:24 left in the first half. Two-pointer.
Henry feels it. He's got a beautiful stroke and hit that jump. Especially along the corner and the baseline, he likes to work, and he was awful effective around the baseline.
Back again comes UNCW looking to get Gary loose in the corner. Brian Rowson now working the high full post. Sandy Anderson. Inside it goes to Rowson. Turnaround jumper. He cannot find the range on that short jumper. Gets the follow there. 27-24. 9 points for Rowson.
It's frustrating when it doesn't go for you. I know when I had bad shooting nights, you just wonder if any shot's ever going to go in, but good shooters stay with it. Rowson, he's not going to change his game just because he's off a little bit in the first half.
Rowson, coming off an injury, was thought to be 100% healthy. Not an injury, illness. Thought to be 100% healthy coming into this ball game. Shot clock is off. 16 seconds left on the game clock. East Carolina working it down for 1. Surprised they don't take one more shot inside against Rowson trying to pick up that foul. 3-point attempt. Oh, they say he stepped inside the line. 3 points. 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 3 Yankee sled. And that's it with the score. East Carolina 30, UNCW 24. You're watching CAA basketball on the Home Team Sports Television Network.
March springs into action on Home Team Sports with a lineup that's full of variety and excitement. The Birds are back with 3 exhibition contests against the Yankees, Expos, and the defending American League champion Boston Red Sox. The Caps continue their push for the Stanley Cup playoffs, featuring matchups with Mario Lemieux and the Pittsburgh Penguins and their Patrick Division foe, the New York Islanders. The Bullets battle the best of the NBA when Air Jordan, Dominique, Larry Bird, and Mark Aguirre all invade the Capitol Center. It's college tourney time with 6 postseason tournament games, including action of the CAA and Atlantic 10 conferences. Plus the Blast, the Virginia Slims of Washington tennis tournament, college lacrosse, professional boxing, and much, much more, all coming your way in March on the channel you cheer for, Home Team Sports.
Fire brewing. It's more than a way to make Strohs and Stroh Light. It's a family tradition, passed down from one generation to another for over 200 years. It's what guarantees that smooth, consistent taste for generations to come.
A good time's better with a good time beer. Strohs and Stroh here. Strohs and Stroh here.
Meet the Smiths and the Joneses. The new car, Mr. Smith? Nice. Cost a lot, huh? Yeah, but in 5 years, she's all yours. And Mr. Jones, new car too, eh? Beautiful. Pricey, too. Oh, really? An Allstate lease. Good idea. No down payment? Paying less per month than buying. No service hassles and a new one in 3 years? Seems like a world of difference between those new cars. That much difference. An Allstate lease gives you more car for less money. Call Allstate today.
Welcome back to the Hampton, Virginia Coliseum, where the UNCW Seahawks, the 2nd seed, right at the half, are down 30-24 to the 7th-seeded East Carolina Pirates. And we mentioned this earlier in the telecast that this is not necessarily an upset, Kevin. These teams, 2 teams, are playing what could be the final game for either one of them at the end of the season. East Carolina is certainly the final game for their head coach, Charlie Harrison, and have come out very aggressive.
They're very motivated in that, number one, they have nothing to lose, really, because they've had a miserable season. They can really culminate this season by beating a UNCW, by getting an upset. They finished off the regular season with a good win against JMU, and now they're just playing inspired basketball. They're playing like a bunch of overachievers, and that they're not afraid of Brian Rowson, the great Brian Rowson, who is leading the nation in many categories. Here he is out there frustrated, and East Carolina's got UNCW right where they want him.
On the other hand, UNCW has certainly got to be happy that they're going to the other end of the court in the second half. They've not been able to get the ball fall inside.
Well, they haven't been, and when they do, they haven't been able to hit their shots.
One of the other keys to this ball game, early in the ball game, Leon Bass went to the bench with an eye injury at an unopportune moment for the Pirates, since Brian Rowson had picked up 2 early fouls.
Well, they're going to need Leon Bass in the second half, and I don't know if he's going to be there. It looked pretty serious, and either he got poked or elbowed in the eye. We really couldn't tell, but the doctors were around him, and it doesn't look good for his cause being back in the second half.
East Carolina, a high number of turnovers, but so far it looks that change in the lineup to the bigger lineup has been very positive for him.
Well, it has, and it's really presented some problems for Rowson. He's getting his shot, though. He's got a nice touch. It's just nothing has dropped for him. They're going to have to get more potent offense from him and a little bit of outside shooting, or UNCW is going to go down.
30-24, East Carolina leading UNCW in the first game of the CAA tournament. Last night here in Hampton, Virginia, they had the CAA banquet, and they named the all-conference team.
In the game tonight. All city all-star, I'm gonna be a
it goes to show you that all the hard work pays off, and I'd say, you know, this is the icing on the cake.
Too bad the coach won't make the game tonight, but he will be watching it anyway. I know they're gonna try and keep me down tonight.
And Marshall Henry, I've seen him for the last 2 years, and yeah, he's a great player, a great shooter. You know, takes the ball to the hole real well, and you know, for 6'5", he rebounds real well, does a little bit of everything. So I definitely admire his game.
But the things you taught us, we won't soon forget. 'Cause you're making me take it all the way. Tell the coach, everything's gonna be alright. Tell the coach that we won't let you down. Tell the coach, everything's gonna be alright tonight. I'm going up the day like every single play.
I think me individually, I pretty much did exactly, you know, what I wanted to. I wanted to score a lot and rebound a lot. I think I did that, but I think team-wise, we didn't win quite as many games as we wanted to, and we're somewhat disappointed, but we think we can win this conference tournament, so I think we can somewhat make up for that. You know, it's definitely a privilege to be with these guys. I think the guys on the team are great guys. They're great competitors, and you know, I've had fun for the last 2, 3, and 4 years playing against all of the guys. I've grown up with Brian Rowson, and he's a great player in my eyes. He has a great shot. He's real strong, goes to the boards real well. And as a person, I don't think there's any other player in the league that I like more than him.
You can see I have the forwards lined up to shoot away. I remember like yesterday the things you did. What kind of man it takes to win the game. I'm gonna be the big one in the game tonight.
No, I wasn't too surprised, but it's an honor in its own to be a sophomore and be on a team with 4 great seniors such as Rowson, Ross, Robertson, and Henry. You know, I feel pretty good about the accomplishment, and like I said, it's an honor in its own. You know, Kenny Sanders, what can I say? He's been so tough for the Patriots, and you know, he'll continue to be tough. But inside, he's got that great body, and he gets inside, plays real strong, has a real soft touch on his outside jumper, and he's definitely a tough competitor, as are all the George Mason players.
Too bad the coach can't make the game tonight. Oh, but he will be watching it anyway. Tell the coach, everything's gonna be alright. Tell the coach that we won't let you down. Tell the coach, everything's gonna be alright tonight. Tell the coach, everything's gonna be alright. Tell the coach.
Well, the biggest thing for me has been just my growth. I mean, freshman year was real tough on me just because I did get in there every day, and just in practice I was beat up every day, and it was tough. And now the biggest difference is just I've put on a lot of weight and I've lifted a lot of weights, and so I'm a lot bigger and stronger, and I have more endurance. So it's been gradually getting better and better, and I take it as a challenge now. I try not to get angry when I get elbowed or double or triple teamed. I take it as a challenge, and I think that makes me that much better of a player, because every night I go out and I know I have to perform against whatever defense I'm going to face. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I try and be optimistic about it.
Because I think he's the best player in the country, so if I have to be second to a player, why not be second to the best? So I think I'm not really overshadowed. I'm overshadowed, but I have no resentment at all.
People have asked me about the difference between last year and this year. They'll see a team that's a run and gun style of play, will have the ability to play high pressure, force some turnovers, have a lot more heart and a lot more work rate, and I think a lot more enthusiasm.
I'm Virgil Ward. I'm Greg Ward. Join us as we fish the best waters in the world. From trout fishing in Canada's Northwest Territories to bass fishing in Mexico's Lake Guerrero.
We'll give you tips on how and where to catch more fish, and we'll demonstrate the latest in lures and techniques to help you improve your own fishing. Come join us this week.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Hampton Coliseum, where the CAA's first game in their first round of the tournament has East Carolina leading the UNC Wilmington Seahawks by a score of 30-24, and has not been a pretty half of basketball, Kevin.
No, it hasn't. Forced shooting, sloppy play. That can happen in tournament play. Both teams very excited, and they want to get off to a good start, and they're going to have to get back to their normal habits, and I think the second half you'll see better play from both teams.
Two legitimate first-team CAA players named last night to the first tournament team playing in this thing. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, and you'll see some outstanding play coming up from Marcel Henry, who led the Pirates in the point guard situation. Here he is leading the break.
Marcel Henry, he can rebound, he can dribble the basketball very well, good ball handling skills, and he can shoot. Well, what more do you need? And he does all three here as he takes the ball to the hoop. A real gifted athlete.
Henry with 9 points in the first half, as did Brian Rowsome, who we mentioned struggled 4 for 10 from the field, but here he does what he does best.
Well, not too many times the Rowsome get the ball in the position he likes to. Here he does, and that featherly touch that he has, he's a great scorer. He's going to have more of that the second half to get them back in the game.
One of the things Marcel Henry has been doing is not only playing that inside game, but the outside game as well. Here, the kickback to him.
Well, Henry, he can take the ball to the basket, and he can shoot the ball very effectively. He's got a nice stroke. There he hits that long bomb.
Okay, here's a look at the statistics from the first half of play. East Carolina shooting 66%, and the telling story, the Seahawks of UNCW only 30%. Mark Geary 0 for 6 for the UNCW Seahawks.
Well, I thought UNCW, it looked like to me they shot 15% in the first half. They were fortunate to really come out that first half only down 6 points for that kind of field goal percentage.
East Carolina struggling a little at the free throw line, only 42%. Rebound situation, UNC Wilmington continues to out-rebound East Carolina. Part of that probably, as I mentioned, Leon Bass not in the ball game most of the first half with an eye problem. Turnovers, we expected this. Marcel Henry running the point guard, has been a forward all season to the last ball game. They have 11 turnovers, UNCW only 6.
Well,
Here are the leading scorers. As we mentioned, Marshall Henry with 9 points to lead the East Carolina Pirates and has been shooting very well, 4-7 from the floor. Blue Edwards, it was important for him to come into this ball game and get off to a good start. He has 7 points, and I think, Kevin, one of the key to that is that he is 3 for 3 from the floor.
He's a very consistent performer, Edwards is, and they're going to have that kind of performance from him coming off the bench.
Brian Rowson, with his 9 points, also had just 3 rebounds in the first half. The key for UNCW, Greg Bender, the sophomore, with 7 points, was 3 for 6 from the field. And one of the things that we mentioned earlier is that Bender seems to do whatever Coach McPherson needs him to do. They need him to score, and it looks like he is open from the wing.
Well, it's encouraging for UNCW's cause when Bender hit a couple outside shots later in the first half. So if he can continue with that kind of outside shooting, and he was really the only one to give him that outside shooting, it might relieve some pressure for Rowson to work around inside.
East Carolina in the first half was 2 for 4 from three-point land, and UNC Wilmington has won 7 of the last 8 versus the Pirates, and 5 in a row, but that has not been a positive situation for Robert McPherson all week. He says numbers just happen to catch up with you in this game of basketball, and to beat them 3 times in one season back-to-back, because they met last year in the first round of the tournament, was a very difficult task.
Beat anybody 3 times, I don't care who it is tough.
We'll be starting the second half of play. UNCW will have the ball, and looking back in the lineup, coming back into the lineup for the East Carolina Pirates is the big guy, number 42, Leon Bass, who still appears that you can take a look at his eye and see that there seems to have been some kind of physical damage done to it, but he's a senior. A gutty performance is necessary, and perhaps could be his final game unless they pull off the win here. He's back out on the court.
Yeah, Bass looks like Sugar Ray Leonard's sparring partner down in Hilton Head.
UNCW working the offense. Brian Rowson moved out to the high post, now works it back in. Same starting 5 for UNC. Mark Gary, Sandy Anderson, number 22 with the ball. And the jump shot partially blocked by Marshall Henry. Brady clears the rebound. 24, Keith Sledge with the ball. Back to Henry. Henry running a point. Sledge the off guard. Down low, the senior Derek Battle, William Brady, and Leon Bass. Shot outside, no good by Henry. Cleared down by Robin Rowson. Inside it goes to Charles Cherry. He's trapped there. Let's play back up. Working further and further away from the basket to open the second half. Mark Gary, they're leaving him alone for the jump shot. 0 for 6. I think that they're going to make him hit one before they come out to the defense. Go across court to Gary. Inside it goes. Bender with it. But I think that pass might have been meant for Brian Rowson.
It was meant for Rowson, and he didn't put his hand up to catch it. They were very fortunate to get that hoop.
30-26, East Carolina's lead cut down to 4. 18:30 left to go in the ball game. Man-to-man defense now by the Seahawks.
The Seahawks are playing that man-to-man. Be more aggressive here in the second half.
Bass turns and shoot, misses. Charles Cherry high for the rebound.
He's a good rebounder for his size, and he does relieve Rowson on the boards quite a bit. The Seahawks now are going to want to get a good shot at the basket. They want to establish early with their confidence that they can score.
Carolina going to a matchup zone. Bender with the shot, the miss. Sledge high for the rebound. The knee didn't bother him in the first half when he hit 2 or 3 3-pointers. It didn't look like it bothered him very much on that rebound. Henry working the ball out top to Battle. Down low it goes to Bass. His second shot of the half has missed them both. Brian Rowson fighting for the rebound. And the trees go to the floor.
Bass is a physical player. He went after Rowson on that one.
There's Leon Bass with a shot.
Bass a little over-aggressive. Gets caught on top of Rowson. The two of them go down in a heap.
UNCW with a chance to cut it to 2.
East Carolina again in that 2-3 zone, just packing it in on Rowson and forcing that outside shot.
Mark Gary squares up the basket that time, but misses the 7th shot of the game. Clearing the rebound, long rebound, is Charles Cherry. Ralston working the high post. Sandy Anderson. Nothing but iron. The shooting troubles continue. Reaching foul called against Mark Gary after Marshall Henry chased down the rebound.
I think that foul is out of frustration. Gary is not shooting well. He's 0 for 7 in the game, and here commits a foul that was just strictly out of frustration.
First game of 4 games to be played in the CAA tournament today. Coming up right after this one, Richmond versus American. Richmond winning the 3rd seed in the CAA against American, the 4th seed here on the list. But actually, I think the 5th seed. Foul called inside. American actually was 6th seed. Here's the replay of that Marshall Henry drive.
He does a good job of hanging in the air. He's able to draw the foul. He goes to the basket. He's very good, very adept, using his body, hanging in the air to either get a shot or the pass.
Charles Cherry with his first foul of the half of the Seahawks.
This is good inside play by East Carolina. They're really taking it to him.
Derek Battle, nice move inside. Back inside it goes to Ralston, who loses it. He's gone on the break, alone with Sledge, misses the turnaround. Battle inside, by Battle, he wins the battle.
Battle goes right ahead. 2 quick baskets. Puts East Carolina up 34-26.
Quick timeout by Coach Robert McPherson, the UNCW Seahawks. And with the score, East Carolina 34, UNCW 26. You're watching CAA basketball on the Home Team Sports Television Network.
The channel you cheer for, Home Team Sports. Home Team Sports. The channel you cheer for. We've got the action, we've got the drive. It's a Home Team exclusive, we've got it live. The channel you cheer for, Home Team Sports.
Coming up next in the Colonial Championship, it'll be the American University Eagles versus the Richmond Spiders. And these two teams, as you can see by the records, they're pretty well matched and pretty much two of the same kind of teams, using a lot of guard play in there. And, of course, we'll have an opportunity to see Frank Ross do his stuff for the Eagles coming up next.
Both teams, like you said, evenly matched. Anxious to see that one.
Right now, the favored Seahawks down 34-26 with the ball against East Carolina. UNCW continues not to shoot very well. 1 of 5 in the second half, 29%. Miles throwing it up. I guess that was an alley-oop for Ralston. Ralston not ready for it. Hard off the backboard. East Carolina has the rebound, goes the other way.
UNCW is frustrated. Just frustrated. East Carolina is playing the kind of game that frustrates UNCW, and that's pack it inside.
Sledge with the air ball. Back the other way comes the point guard for the Seahawks, Sandy Anderson. Again, looking hard inside for Brian Ralston. 4 purple jerseys around him. Kevin Miles with the jump shot.
Oh, what a relief it is. They finally hit a jumper. And they need that. They need to get some scoring outside because they just pack on Ralston, and he's just not able to get his hands.
34-28. East Carolina lead is 6. On the sideline, waiting to come in for the Seahawks, Ben Pittman. Coach McPherson trying to shake some things up. As you said, they're not shooting very well. East Carolina was shooting 58% before the last trip down court. William Brady, the senior, his 6th point. So much psychology involved with the game of basketball. I think that Charlie Harrison came up with the right formula starting his seniors. Keep tripping to the outside. Brady with the rebound. Sledge the other way.
I think Robert McPherson's going to have to get a timeout here. He doesn't want East Carolina got a 10-point lead. Build on that.
Biggest lead of the ball game for the Pirates. 10 points, 38-28. Brian Rowson comes back with the shot. Kevin Miles inside. Rowson backed up a follow, but before he can do that, whistle blown against Leon Bass. Third foul on Bass.
Here the action underneath has been physical game all along. Getting the offensive rebound and drawing the foul.
Good positioning by Kevin Miles on that shot. He'll get 2 free throws, but then again, there's the frustration. He had right there 2 foot from the goal, and it just does not fall. Takes the first. Into the game for the Seahawks, Mark Gary and Ben Pittman still waiting to check in for Miles. Now into the game for East Carolina. Blue Edwards back up off the Pirate bench, replacing Bass, who has 3 fouls. Miles makes them both, cutting the lead down to 8. We'll check out of the ball game. UNCW has not been a very good team when they have trailed at the half. They've only won 1 of 9 games when they have trailed at the half. They have had some successful comeback efforts, but they usually make their run right about now in the ball game.
East Carolina has control of the ball game right now. East Carolina's shooting a little bit better here in the second half. Doing the things they want to do.
Inside it goes to Blue Edwards. He doesn't get the roll. Seahawks come back. Anderson working 1-on-4, pulls it back out. Again, they're dropping way off on the Seahawks guards. 4 shirts now around Brian Rowson. Mark Gary.
He didn't need it that one. He finally broke the ice with his jumper. He said East Carolina is playing a zone, hacking it in the paint, just daring the Carolina guards to shoot.
Mark Gary, 1 of 8 in the ball game. The lead now down to 6. The Seahawks contingent in the stands. The green and gold getting up, trying to bring him back. Looking for the run. Right now, Marshall Henry and the senior lineup that he has in there is playing pretty controlled. Edwards with the shot, partially blocked by Rowson. Anderson brings it back the other way.
I think he got away with the travel there.
2 of them. So they caught the second one. Seems to be a dead spot in that part of the court. It's twice first half Marshall Henry came down on the break and lost the ball right there. That time Sandy Anderson had the same kind of troubles.
Well, Sandy Anderson really is a 2 guard. When he gets the ball on the break, he has a tendency to turn the ball over.
UNCW with 3 turnovers already in the first half, and we mentioned East Carolina protecting the ball. They've yet to turn it over in the second half and have a 6-point lead in the ball. Pass back in the lineup, working low post against Rowson. Seahawks back in the 2-3 zone. Some UNCW players thought they had a traveling violation. Blue with the shot, he can't get it. Tipped up by Battle. Cleared by UNCW. Rowson off the break. A little bit out of control that time. Back comes Marshall Henry. Offensive foul called. Kevin Miles steps in against Derek Battle. And I believe they're going to have to wave that basket off.
But Kevin Miles did a great job getting position. Full speed Battle. Charged him.
His 3rd foul.
Here you see the other angle of it. You see it was a good fast break on the move 3-on-1. But Miles did an outstanding job of getting position, nullifying that basket.
Both teams trying to pick the tempo up a little bit in that last sequence. Both resulting in a turnover. Anderson back with a point, looking inside the Rowson. Mark Gary, maybe a little confidence, is open. That's 3 points. Front of the rim, back of the rim, circles on out. That has been the scenario all afternoon long. Henry in the paint, driving, partially blocked by Greg Bender, who's caught up, but he gets the roll. 11 point in the ball game. Whistle called stopping play. Blue Edwards may have caught an elbow at the other end.
I think Blue Edwards got it in the nose. And like we said, it's been a physical game.
There he is sneaking off the baseline. Let's see if we can catch up.
His own man got him.
Ooh, yep. He lost the battle with battle that time.
He got nailed hard. He's okay.
11:40 left in the ball game. East Carolina with the ball and the lead, 40-32. Marshall Henry has pretty much gone the whole way at the point guard. UNCW now picking up in the man-to-man. Henry off the baseline.
What a strong move that was. He just bull guarded his way to the basket. Marshall Henry has done a terrific job running the offense and really controlling the tempo for East Carolina.
First team all-conference. A lot of players with his credentials would not have liked to make that switch to point guard, having to give up his scoring chances. Ball stripped away. Sandy Anderson chases it down and is banged by Marshall Henry, who picks up his second foul.
Here's good reach in there, but Marshall Henry, every time there's contact, he's usually the winner. This guy is strong, very strong, and Sandy Henderson bounced off of him.
Quite an unselfish move on his part to move over to that point guard position. He was a scoring forward and at best a scoring off guard, but he still found a way to manufacture points at the point position. And right now, I don't think Charlie Harrison will change this lineup should they get a victory here this afternoon. Miles, top of the key, good. Kevin Miles cuts the East Carolina lead to 8. Miles several times during the season have come off the bench to spark Seahawk runs. Coach McPherson hoping to get one more this afternoon. Ball knocked away by Sandy Anderson, picked up.
Good hustle by Sandy Anderson. He deflected Marshall Henry's pass. It was attempting to get the ball inside.
Brian Rowson with the jumper draws the foul. Blue Edwards took that Derek Battle with the body contact. That's his fourth foul.
Here, Rowson moves very well to get the ball inside. Goes up, hangs, and changes the shot, draws the foul. Rowson hasn't been playing up the bar tonight. But he is a good free throw shooter. If he can draw some fouls, he can get some at the line.
Again, it appeared that Robert McPherson made the change to movement away from the basket. And this is the first free throw. Is that an attempt to get him the ball in a situation where he's moving toward the basket instead of posting down low?
Well, they just weren't very effective in the first half. Number one, of getting the ball to him, and once they did, he had so many people around him, he wasn't able to do his normal moves. So bringing him out on the court enables him to look at the basket first.
Rowson gets the second one. The lead is now 7 by the Pirates. Still over 10 minutes to play. Anderson working against Henry. Ball knocked out of bounds. Sandy Anderson, a very versatile guard, last night named, I think, what his coach would consider one of the highest honors in the league, to the all-defensive team, showing us why there. He's been sticking to Marshall Henry.
Well, he's really a tenacious defender. He's got long arms. He's out there, and he's staying with the best player, one of the best offensive players, guards that is, in the conference, Marshall Henry. He's doing a good job on him.
Baseline goes William Grady. It gets around Greg Bender and Kevin Miles to score his 8th point.
Grady goes to the basket well. He's done this 2 or 3 times already in the game where he just attacks the basket, gets that nice bank shot.
44-35. He's going back to 9. He's going to be in a situation where they're going to need 3-pointers to make Bender with one there.
Bender's been their best outside shooter in this game. Those 3-pointers can really bring you back awful quickly. If they can get a couple of them, the Seahawks will be right in it.
Bender rattles home his 12th point. Timeout by the East Carolina Pirates. With the score, East Carolina 44, UNCW 38. We'll be back with CAA basketball right after this.
The week's over. Yeah, and the weekend's just beginning.
Come on, we'll show you how a good time goes. We're going to a place where they talk shows. 'Cause a good time's better with a good time beer. And Stroh's is smoking here.
Here's
Here's how the good times get better. Stroh's and Stroh Light 15 and 30 packs. A convenient package at a special value. Get them wherever you buy your beer.
Stroh's is smoking here.
No ifs, no ands, no buts. Just the lowest overhead in Baltimore. That makes All-Star Chevrolet have the lowest new car Chevrolet prices in town. All-Star Chevrolet, the automotive supermarket who discounts every car, every truck, every van, every day. And that's a promise from me, Mr. All-Star, Brooks Robinson.
Back at Hampton Coliseum, where the East Carolina Pirates have the second-seeded UNCW Seahawks on the ropes right now, 44-38. Still plenty of time left to play, Kevin. 9:27 in the ballgame. In the shooting situation right now, East Carolina has got to continue that 55%. UNC Wilmington lucky right now to be down only by 6 points, shooting 30% from the game, 3 of 17 from the floor.
Well, that poor shooting is why they're losing, no question about it. On the other hand, East Carolina, they've been able to limit their turnovers, and they're just trying to play a patient basketball game that UNCW does not want to see. They want to get up an up-tempo game.
Blue Edwards driving from the top of the key. His 9th point of the ball game. UNCW still looking to get it inside to Rowsome, and he is still drawing all the attention of his Pirate defense. That time he draws the foul. Could go against Leon Bass or Blue Edwards.
Well, even though Rowsome hasn't had the best game, he's still working very hard to get that position. He's drawing fouls. When you get a lot of fouls, that means you're active, and he's being a lot more active here in the second half.
That was Edwards' 3rd foul. Rowsome 4 of 12 from the field. As you said, very uncharacteristic of his play, but he just has not been getting the roll. And he is now 3 of 5 from the line, 11 points, but he has 6 rebounds. I think one of the important parts of his game is he's starting to pick up off the glass.
But he's playing a little bit better now, and he's getting in his tempo. With 8:51 left in the game, they're only down 6 points. It's their star player. The cream rises to the top, and he is their star player. We're going to see what he's made of here now.
Henry working with the ball. Baseline goes Grady. Makes a nice strong move to the basket, but is fouled there by, I believe, Kevin Miles.
Grady has an uncanny knack to getting to the basket. He's not overly quick. He does have long arms, so he's able to go up there and hang and extend. There he makes another nice move to the basket. He's done that 4 or 5 times now in the game. He's really given them a lift.
Grady is 4 of 4 from the field in this ball game. 8 points, 5 rebounds. But he misses his first free throw. Charlie Harrison really has to be pleased with the situation in the turnaround. Of course, you'd like to have found this chemistry earlier in the year, but they've had some other players there. Howard Brown, who's left for discipline reasons. Rowsome clears the rebound, hasn't knocked away, but Howard Brown, who left for discipline reasons, they had the chemistry all along, got to a good start, a slump, and then had internal problems, and it looks like they had put it together at the right time.
Well, they started off the season 9-5, and then they just had real problems there. They lost 7 in a row. Now they're starting to play a lot better. And boy, what a great time to peak. Their seniors have really responded to the opportunity.
Great hustle play that time by Blue Edwards, who knocked the ball off out of bounds at Greg Bender. It looked like UNCW went to a double low post that time and said, well, if we're going to have to force it inside, if we're not shooting well inside, we're going to have a lot of people down there that can touch the ball, and Greg Bender was down there. Inside Edwards. Misses the shot. Rowsome with the rebound. Loses it. Anderson loses it away. Edwards picks it up. John Williams backs it out, and now leading by 6 points. Marshall Henry will set the offense. 7:44 left in the ball game. UNCW back in a 2-3 zone. Marshall Henry working on the wing. Gary picking up Williams on the other side now. Inside it goes to Edwards, has the ball knocked away by Kevin Miles and recovered. Anderson goes the other way, 1-on-3. He'll pull it back out. to Mark Gary, and they'll reset it. Anderson, 2, Bass with the rebound. Marshall Henry left alone, licked the court pass. He's fouled by Kevin Miles. That time, Marshall Henry snuck back and had it all to himself.
Oh, he just got a layup here by beating the defense down. He was hammered just to draw the foul.
Good job by Kevin Miles to hold Henry up after he made the foul. Obviously, trying to keep him from getting the easy snowbird, but at the same time, doing a good job to keep him from being knocked out of bounds and possibly hurt. Huddle called on the East Carolina sidelines. Well, maybe they are going to call that an intentional foul.
It looks that way. They're going to give him 2 free throws.
Well, they've got possession. They've got John Williams up on the line there.
Foul on number 35, Kevin Miles, second, team fourth.
Intentional foul call. Maybe
after these 2 free throws, East Carolina will also get possession of the ball, so that's a costly foul.
And that's a big free throw for John Williams, who was 0 for 7 on the season coming in here. So now he has a percentage anyway. He makes them both.
That's 2 of the biggest free throws he's made all year. And they couldn't come at a better time here in tournament play.
Breakaway layup. I guess the call was that Kevin Miles, the intention was not a good one. So East Carolina gets the 2 free throws, and now we'll get the ball out of bounds. Ball worked into Grady. Grady now back in the lineup along with Blue Edwards, Marshall Henry, John Williams, and Leon Bass for the Pirates. They're being very patient. 6:53 left in the game. As soon as I say that, Marshall throws it away.
Not a smart pass. You don't alley-oop when you got a defensive player like Rowson in there.
John Williams trying to get behind Rowson was not able to do it. Rob Wagner back in the Seahawk lineup. UNCW looking for some formula that will get the ball to go down. They've had good shots. The ball has just not dropped. Rowson turnaround. Off the glass, no good. Battle for the rebound. Rowson had it. William Grady pulls it down. Greg Bender from behind with the push. Bender now with his 3rd foul. Only the 15th foul against the Seahawks, so it will not be 1-1. 6:23 left in the ball game. East Carolina with the lead, 48-40. Kevin, I'd have to think that if UNCW was going to make a move, certainly it has to be right now. They're not that quick a team that they can come back in the final 2 minutes. And it looks like they're starting to extend the defense slowly but surely.
They're going to have to do it with their defense.
Edwards forces 2 shots. They battle for the rebound. Rob Wagner, the smallest man on the floor, finally gets it, and he is fouled. Foul called on John Williams. It could have possibly been against Blue Edwards. It would have been his 4th. It was only Edwards' 1st, but that is the 17th foul. So Seahawks, one of the better shooting teams in the conference in the country, the free throw line up for the last 3 weeks. They'll have a chance to get back into the ball game at the charity stripe.
That's why that was such a bad foul. East Carolina has been doing a great job defensively, limiting the opportunities for Rowson and knowing very well that the outside shooting of the Seahawks hasn't been up to par. So you don't want to put the team at the free throw line. Have that other team beat you from outside.
Fast break goes Grady the other way. Finger roll, he's got it.
He's really playing great today. He's making some terrific moves to the basket. Really sparked East Carolina.
50-41. The Pirate lead is 9. 5:47 left in the ball game. UNCW patiently working the ball into the inside. Ball goes into Rowson, but again overthrown. Sandy Anderson, fortunately, there to get the ball and put it back up. So far, most of the offense of the Seahawks inside has come on Fortune, and a big foul there. Marshall Henry. We mentioned Sandy Anderson named to the CAA All-Defensive team there. Watch him get his body in position.
There's one reason why. He's been hawking Marshall Henry. Marshall Henry is very strong, stronger than Sandy Anderson, but Sandy Anderson is trying to just get in his way, doing whatever he can to try to create a turnover, and there he did with the charge.
Seahawks with a chance to cut the lead down to 5. Marshall Henry's third foul. A little bit of foul trouble for the Pirates. Should this game be extended, they have several players with 3, and Derek Battle with 4. Ball knocked away will belong to the Seahawks. 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Battle checks back in, replacing Edwards. I don't think Charlie Harrison really happy with the shot selection of Blue Edwards last couple of times down the court. Keith Sledge checks back in, replacing Grady. Has to be happy with his shot selection. Oh, yeah. Giving him a breather. Wagner looks inside to Rowson. Leon Bass.
Well, I don't think there's any question who the Seahawks are going to go to now. With just 4:52 left. They're going to try to get that ball to Rowson.
Sandy Anderson outside, air ball. Seahawks really having problems shooting in the arena. May break the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Number 35, Derek Battle.
Well, Henry makes a great bounce pass here. And there's the three-point play by Battle. Battle's doing a good job inside also. He's able to slither around inside and get those nice hoops.
A lot of folks might have questioned Charlie Harrison making the replacement of Derek Battle and also Grady in the lineup that late in the season. But Battle has come back with 3 of 4 from the field with 7 points and 3 rebounds. And all Grady has done is gotten 10 points so far in this ballgame. So far, that combination seems to work. He made the right move.
Well, whatever the reasons, these guys have really responded to the opportunity to play.
Misses the free throw. Rowson clears the rebound. 4:36 left in the ballgame. 52-43. The East Carolina lead is 11, the biggest of the ballgame. If UNCW has to get to that three-point shot, they may be in trouble. Rob Wagner.
Big shot by Wagner. He was able to get a nice 12-footer with just good ball movement.
Senior out of Muncie, Indiana, with the bucket. His third point of the ballgame. Marshall Henry, three-pointer, off the rim, no good. Charlie Harrison said we should run more offense. Well, Marshall, we don't need that quick three-pointer. Foul called, reaching foul against Sledge. That's his second. Oh, check that, John Williams, excuse me. Against John. Foul called against Williams, his second. Greg Bender with 12 points, the best shooting free throw shooter on the Seahawk team. Go ahead and jinx him. I'll not be able to go back to Wilmington after that. 79% shooter on the year from the line. Timeout called by the East Carolina Pirates. Charlie Harrison making the call. I think the last time down court, Marshall Henry put up the three-pointer a little quick. Charlie looked at him and said, let's run the offense. Let's get something going. And maybe that's what he's trying to tell them in the huddle now. Fellas, we are in the lead. We're in command of this ball game. I guess he's trying to say to them, we've got to run some offense.
He's going to remind the players how they got that lead. And they got that lead with good patience and with good ball control, good ball handling. They don't need those kind of shots out there. Marshall Henry, although, is a great scorer, and I know myself, if you feel it, you want to go ahead and take that. But sometimes you have to go against your instincts and do what's best for the team, and that's to take good shots. And they've got this lead, and they've got to be patient.
Seahawks shooting 41% on the year from the three-point line, have not been able to hit the ocean from the shore thus far in this ball game. One of their worst shooting performances. But when do you think that they're going to have to go to that maybe almost exclusively?
Well, Rowson, they've got to get him the ball more. Even though there's some outside shots for the guards, they haven't hit those shots for the most part this whole game. They've got to get the ball to Rowson. And you mentioned it earlier that they were bringing Rowson out on the court a little more, giving him the ball around the free throw line. If he wants to, he can make his move. He's a good shooter from around there. We're just going to have to try to get more from him with just 3:47 left. That's your money man. That's who you got to go to.
Brian Rowson As you said, the money man had 2 quick fouls in the first half. Maybe now they can start forcing the ball, and he can try to draw some fouls inside and go to the free throw line. East Carolina will check it in under their own goal. Marshall Henry inside to Blue Edwards. Showing the patience. Harrison must have told him, fellas, we don't need that kind of quick shot.
Well, they're going to use the shot clock now a little bit more, I think. Just over 3 minutes to go. They're going to try to milk that clock and try to use that in their favor.
Gary checks Sledge. Baseline and went to Edwards, checked by Cherry. Blocked by Brian Rowson. Grabbed quickly, and probably a smart foul as Mark Gary was ahead of the pack.
Well, here Rowson, who is a terrific shot blocker, gets a very timely block here. You see him asserting himself on defense and makes a great block. He gets fouled, gets tripped up. Now he goes to the free throw line and try to narrow that lead down.
Sledge walks away from that battle limping just a little bit. Charlie Harrison had a talk with him at the other end and mentioned to him, we don't need those kind of fouls. We don't need to put these guys on the line, although Seahawks certainly have been cool from there the last 2 trips. Brian Rowson with the miss. 3:18 left in the ball game. 7-point lead for the East Carolina Pirates. Man-to-man pressure by the Seahawks. Wagner guarding Williams. Down low it goes to Bass, who turns and walks.
Yes, he did. They got the ball in a good position, but they weren't able to do anything with it as Bass traveled. Bad turnover by East Carolina.
17 turnovers in the ball game for East Carolina, 11 for the Seahawks. Gary from three-pointer, yes. 52-48 the score. Mark Gary on track. His 5th point.
The lead can evaporate very quickly with a couple three-pointers.
Gary 2 of 10, but had a timely 3 right there. Back to man-to-man defense go the Seahawks. Still running the clock. Go the Pirates. Lou Edwards, close to a 5-second count, gets it off number 22 Williams. Bass out on the high post. Not a bad idea to bring Rowson away from there in case they can get a move by one of the bigger guys. Wagner guarding Williams. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Marcel Henry says, clear out the side for me. There's the jumper. He gets the iron. Nobody on the boards. Finally, Rob Wagner gets it, loses it.
East Carolina may have gone into this ball control a little bit early. They're not aggressive at the basket. Seahawks sense that.
Long shot knocked away. Off the rebound. Bender missing the shot, went after it, knocked away. Up with it come the Pirates. Timeout, Charlie Harris. 52-48, 1:49 left in the ball game. What had been an 11-point lead for the Pirates dwindled now to just 4. And as you mentioned earlier, that maybe the Seahawks did not have to necessarily go to that three-pointer. It just was fortunate that when they took it, Mark Gary took that three-pointer, that it went in.
Well, a three-pointer brought that lead back, 4 points. I think that they haven't been shooting that well, and I don't think they should go to that three-pointer exclusively. They got to still try to get the ball to Rowson. He's drawing fouls. He's a great free throw shooter, shooting almost 75% for a big man, which is extremely good. He's drawing a lot of crowd, and that also, the clock will work in your favor. If you can get fouled and stop that clock, you're able to dwindle that lead with less time.
Seahawks not the team known for great quickness, and you mentioned that East Carolina might have tried to wind the clock down a little bit early. I guess that would be from the fact that they don't really have a true point guard out there to handle the ball.
Well, that could be the case, too, and that you don't see one player exclusively handling the ball like you do on some clubs. Although East Carolina has had a very good game plan, they've gone into this ball control. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold that lead.
Second half shooting, the Pirates have certainly cooled off. They're now 10 of 26 from the floor, 38%. Seahawks have stayed right where they're at, 8 of 23, 34% in the second half. Interesting note, UNCW has lost 6 games by a total of 9 points, so they're certainly used to being in close ball games, but they're also used to being on the other end of that. They've lost 4 games by 1 point and 3 more in overtime. So they are used to close ball games. And with the foul trouble that East Carolina has, you would have to think that it might be favored their way should it go into overtime. And you're right, maybe work those possessions in instead of going for the 3-point bombs. 27 seconds on the shot clock, 1:36 on the game clock. 4-point lead for the Pirates. Marshall Henry working away against Bender over now to John Williams. Wagner guarding him. Steal by Charles Cherry. Blocked. Blocked by Blue Edwards. Seahawk bench calling for a goaltend. A blocking foul now on Rob Wagner. What a block by Blue Edwards. It's unbelievable. What skill. He went up so high to block that up around the square. Here's the replay. Charles Cherry coming up with a steal. It looked like Cherry was going to have an unopposed layup. But then Blue Edwards comes out of nowhere, rises and just slaps it away. It was a good block. He got it before it hit the glass. Good block by Blue Edwards. UNCW defense that time doing a good job knocking down the passing lanes, enabled Cherry to get over the top and get that steal. Marshall Henry at this end will be shooting free throws. First one is good. 14 points for him. Now a 5-point lead. Big one coming up here. East Carolina only a 67% free throw shooting team. Marcel, one of the better ones at 75%. Henry gets them both. Now a 6-point lead, 112. Pressured by the Pirates, trying to work some time off in the backcourt. And that does pull Brian Ralston way outside. Rob Wagner to Mark Gary. Gary looking quickly for that 3-pointer. It's not there. Charles Cherry, that's his spot. Charles Cherry with a 3-pointer. UNCW the quick timeout. 53 seconds left. 54-51. The lead now down to 3. It's not often that you see a big power forward like he is go that far out, but that is actually his spot. That's where he works in shooting practice from the floor, the top of the key. And certainly being a senior, had the calm and the poise to take that shot. Well, that was just good leadership. He felt that he could get the 3-pointer. He went up and took it, and just like it were nothing, he went up and drilled it. That's a big shot for them to bring them within 3 points, and I think that UNCW has hit 2 3-pointers. Now they sense that their outside shooting's a little better. It puts East Carolina in a position where now they have to guess. Well, do we have to guard the 3-pointer, or should we sit back on Ralston like we've done all game and try to limit his possessions? 54-51. The wings being knocked off by the East Carolina defense. Maybe Brian Ralston or Charles Cherry will have to come back late in the ballgame and take that same sort of shot. Right now, with East Carolina having the ball, you think that the Seahawks will have to foul quickly, or? What I would do would be put a lot of pressure on the passing lanes. Try to create a turnover. East Carolina has gone into a stall game. There are going to be a lot of passes, and they can try to intercept one of those. Then when the clock gets down, after about 10 or 15 seconds, they may be forced to foul at that point, but not early. Seahawks coming out man-to-man defense. Brian Ralston back with a safety valve. They clear the ball into Blue Edwards, and I think they'd want to get a quick foul there, but they did not. Marshall Henry with the ball now. Picked up by Brian Ralston. Everybody guarding whoever's closest to them. They're going to have to foul here in a minute now. Reach across foul by Greg Bender. So foul by Bender. Change that to Brian Ralston. They got Ralston for the reach. That's his third. Team 7. Well, John Williams made 2 big free throws earlier on that intentional foul. But he is exactly the man that they wanted to foul. 0 for 7 coming into the ball game. He did make his last 2 free throws, but he's still in a situation that is exactly the man that you want to foul. The
Seahawks were playing the percentages where they fouled the worst free throw shooter on the team. But he did hit those last two, so John Williams is going to try to hit these, try to seal this victory.
Shot clock is off now. 33 seconds left in the ball game. You come down, you're UNCW. You've hit 4 of 11 today from three-point land. Greg Bender, 2 of 3. Charles Cherry hitting that last one, 1 of 1. And Mark Gary, 1 of 5. It seems to me that you either look for the quick three-pointer or you look for the quick two-pointer to Brian Rowsome underneath. What situation do you think that the Seahawks are going to have to set up on this end should they miss the free throw on the other end?
Well, obviously, if John Williams hits these free throws, they're going to have to most definitely go to the three-pointer. If he misses the first of this 1-and-1, then they can look for 2. Really, when it gets tight like this, you should take what the defense gives you, take the best shot that you have, whether it's a three-pointer or a two-pointer, look for the best high percentage shot that you might have.
And should he make 1 and they have a 4-point lead, it's going to take 2 possessions anyway, and if you can get the quick two-pointer underneath, then you're going to have to get the ball back anyway. Go ahead and get the two-pointer and call the timeout. Big free throws coming up for John Williams. 0 of 7 coming in, hit his last 2 to give himself a percentage. Sophomore out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. 3 for 3 on the ball game.
Well, it's tournament time. You throw all those stats out the window. So he's 3 for 3.
4-point lead. This can make it, move it to 5. And does. Checking into the lineup, number 40, William Grady, replacing Blue Edwards. Also, besides giving some rebounding strength to the Pirates, gives a chance for them to set up a pressure defense, and they will press. Sandy Anderson up quick. Mark Gary, three-pointer. Timeout. 23 seconds left on the clock, 56-54. Mark Gary, who had, up to that point, had been 1 of 9, watched his body just float there.
Well, knowing down 5 points, they have to look for the 3. Gary just hits nothing but net. What a clutch shot that was.
Mark Gary, not known to be a dunker, had his first dunk in a game earlier this year. Kind of hangs over the defender. Grady in perfect position, but Gary just buries it.
That was a beautiful shot. Now it narrows it to 2 points. UNCW just never say die. They're going to fight them tooth and nail and try to pull this game out. Down 2 points, East Carolina with the lead. They're going to just try to keep the good ball control and not turn the ball over.
Pirates do have 2 timeouts left, and they'll be able to run the baseline on the inbounds pass. UNCW with just 1 timeout left, but with 23 seconds in the ballgame, that's all they need. Should they get the foul or the steal or the turnover here at this end, call that timeout and set up the offense. They just need that. Or on the other end, should East Carolina get the free throws at this end, UNCW still has time to come back, get the bucket, and call the timeout and reset their defense again. 23 seconds left in the game, 56-54. Back on the court, Marshall Henry looks to be taking the ball inbounds for the Pirates. Blue Edwards back in the lineup, along with number 22, John Williams.
UNCW is going to deny the ball inbounds, try to commit, of course, a turnover here.
Quick foul, Sandy Anderson on Marshall Henry. He's shooting 1 and 1. Henry with 15 points, 8 rebounds already in the ball game. Is, as we mentioned, one of the better free throw shooters on this East Carolina team. He's 3 of 4 in this ball game. 75% on the year. 20 seconds left, 2-point game. Henry shooting 1 and 1. Well, he got the iron, but he got the roll, and is now a 3-point game.
East Carolina hitting these clutch free throws. Really been so important for their cause to nail these free throws, and you see how important free throw shooting is here.
Second one, nothing but net. Marshall Henry, the senior, named the all-conference team last night making a run at all tournament team. Anderson back the other way. They get the ball to Gary. Gary can't get a three-pointer off. Anderson inside to Brian Rowson. With 7 seconds on the clock, Seahawks cut the Pirate lead to 58-56.
But here they were looking for the three-pointer first. They couldn't get it. The defense knew that they were trying to get the three-pointers. Sandy Anderson dishes finally to Rowson, who has the easy layup. That's pretty good strategy. Look for the three-pointer. If you don't have it, you can get that two-pointer underneath.
One of the things the three-point play has created is a difference in situations at the end of the ball game in terms of possessions. Now you have to think also, some coaches forget that possessions are almost as important as that extra point. And that time, Sandy Anderson appeared to do the right thing and realized that they still had to get the ball back even if they'd have gotten the three-pointer or forced a long shot.
Well, the tendency is to just keep launching those three-pointers when you're down 5 or 6 points, but that's not playing high-percentage basketball.
East Carolina has never trailed in this ball game. They led by 8 in the first half. They led by 10 twice here in the second half. The closest UNCW was able to come this half is 4 last time at 52-48, and then right now at 2 with 3 minutes left. They were within 4 and had one or more 2 chances to take the lead. Until the three-point shot by Mark Gary with 23 seconds left. They didn't look like they would be back in the ball game, but they did pull back within 2. Right now, Marshall Henry working the ball in bounds, can run the baseline. I was asking that question. He should be able to run the baseline. First, the referee pointed the spot. Now they've let him know he can move. Foul quickly. Sandy Anderson on Keith Sledge. First, they had said a 2-shot foul, and I think what he was motioning to the scores table is that he knew that they were in 1-1, and now he's going to call it about 1-1. Immediately following this game, American University versus the Richmond Spiders after a warm-up period. Another good game on tap. Right now, Keith Sledge misses the first. 5 seconds left. No timeouts left for the Seahawks. Brian Rowson.
Oh, makes it. It's a three-pointer.
Unbelievable. So many times this year, this has happened to the Seahawks. What an appropriate time for it to come back for them. But what a heartbreaking loss for these Pirates. You cannot say enough about the way they played this game today. Charlie Harrison picking his team up. You cannot say enough about that effort.
Well, there's Brian Rowson, who has a miracle, one miracle left in his career, and he nails a three-pointer as they were down the whole game.
Here is the replay. 5 seconds left. The free throw is missed. Brian Rowson, they practiced this yesterday, and I thought it was unique because Brian Rowson coming into this game was the only starter that had not hit from three-point land.
Here you saw 5 seconds left on the missed free throw. They get the ball out. They go to Rowson. Rowson banks this one in, too. I know he didn't try to do that, but that's just the way the ball bounces. He banks it in. And wins the game for the Seahawks.
What a thrilling conclusion to our first game. The UNCW Seahawks pull off the victory after trailing the entire ball game. They pull it off on a apropos shot by the second-best player, as he's being called in the league, Brian Rowson. They win it 59-58. We'll be back with more right after this.
Brewing. It's more than a way to make Stroh's and Stroh Light. It's a family tradition, passed down from one generation to another for over 200 years. It's what guarantees that smooth, consistent taste for generations to come.
A good time's better with a good time beer. Stroh's is spoken here. Stroh's is spoken here. Sometimes every day seems like like every other day. The way you used to have fun doesn't do it anymore. Proponents of a great timeout, we got a team to make you proud. To read, to know, need to breathe, so come on, be part of the team. Yeah! Proponents of a great timeout, proponents are a great timeout.
Flown south for the winter, but Home Team Sports keeps you on top of the 1987 edition of the Orioles as they ready themselves for another exciting season. See 5 exhibition ball games as we take you live to southern Florida, where the Birds battle the Yankees, the Expos, and the Red Sox. That's Orioles exhibition baseball live and exclusively on the channel you cheer for, Home Team Sports.
Welcome back to Hampton Coliseum, where the UNCW Seahawks have just taken a thrilling 59-58 victory over the East Carolina Pirates in the first round, the first game. Standing by now with the winning coach, George Johnson.
Thank you, Bill. I'm along with Robert McPherson, the head coach of UNC Wilmington. What a great win.
Really was. I tell you what, we've lost 4 ball games like that this year on a similar type shot, and we've always told the young men that everything that goes around comes around, and today it finally came around for us.
You have some great shooters on this team, especially Mark Gary, Greg Bender. You went with Brian Rowson for the final shot.
Well, we went with him, but we had worked on a similar play like this all week long. In fact, we worked on it yesterday out here in practice. The last shot we took yesterday in practice was identical to the one we took today, and Brian hit that one yesterday also. But we had 3 options off of it. We wanted to get Bender, Mark Gary on the wings, or look for Brian Rowson high, and it wound up with Brian's hand. He's 6'9", he can get the ball up over the defense, so it turned out fine.
I know you were biting your nails. You went in at halftime. You only shot 30%, but you're still in the ball game.
Right. Well, our defense has carried us. We led the Colonial Athletic Association this year in defensive average. We only allowed 64.7 per ball game throughout the entire course of the year. Our defense kept us in there, and we told our shooters at halftime if they'd just relax, loosen up, let the game come to them, that sooner or later we were going to start knocking some of those down. Mark Gary had a tremendous three-pointer going down the stretch that really got us back in the ball game.
He was only 1 of 9 at the time when he took the shot. But you had to be a little nervous about Marcel Henry and Blue Edwards coming in this game.
Those guys are great athletes, great athletes. I think they got as good a physical talent as anybody in the league as far as the team goes. They don't have a 7-footer like a David Robinson or a 6'9" youngster like Brian Rowson, but the other people match up as good as anybody's. They're great. They have great quickness, great jumpers. A ball club is to be reckoned with, and hey, they played us. That's the only time we led was when it was over with.
Let me ask you, when you came in the ball game, there were probably other variables for EC to win this game, particularly in the fact that Coach Harrison has said he won't be back next year. Were you had that in mind when you came in?
I certainly did. Also, they're a big rival of ours. We have beaten them 5 times in a row going into today's ball game. This makes the 6th consecutive time over the last 2-year period. And sometimes the law of averages catch up with you, so I was concerned about that. Also concerned about Coach Harrison. He had them real pumped up Monday night when they beat James Madison, who I think has an outstanding basketball team. And so we were real concerned about that. We dug ourselves in a hole. We got down 5-2, 7-2, 13-6, and it was just catch up from our own. But the thing I've got to give to the Seahawks is they never quit. It's the type of ball club they've been all year. They've hung in there night after night and just done a tremendous job.
You must be happy you've made the switch. You're in the CAA now. Your heart beats probably a lot faster than ever did.
Well, it's unbelievable how much emotion swing within a 1-second time frame. You know, it looked like we were going to go home, end our season early, and now here we're still playing. And, you know, I'm just proud for the guys because they worked hard this year. They came out real tight today. Got a little frustrated when the shots didn't fall, but I think tomorrow they'll have the jitters out of the system, come back and play a lot better.
Last question, American University, Richmond playing next. You have the winner of that ball game. Do you predict anybody? Do you look forward to taking on anybody in particular?
Well, if American University gets a lead, I think they'll win the ball game. They have one of the nation's outstanding shooters in Frank Ross. This young man can shoot with anybody and will definitely get drafted. Great shooter. They also have good size inside. On the other hand, Richmond is a very smart basketball team. Peter Wolfer can play today. I understand he's injured. I don't know how much he'll play, but he's an outstanding postman. If he can play, then I would say that Richmond probably gets a nod because Richmond's a very smart team. And, you know, when you consider all phases of the game, it'll be a great ball game. Like I think all tournament games are going to be close.
Be that as it may, we see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Congratulations to you, Coach. And we'll see you then tomorrow afternoon when you take on the winner of American University or Richmond. And now, talking about All-Americans, I have Brian Ralston, if I can get him in here real quick. Brian, they love you. It must be great to be a hero. Greg Bender also joining us. It must be nice to be a hero, but it was a tough ball game until that last one.
It sure was. I really think East Carolina deserved to win. You know, they had the lead all game long. They really played well, and I really didn't do anything all game long. And fortunate enough, I was fortunate enough to hit that last shot for it.
You were supposed to be able to dominate in this ball game, yet and still you had your problems in the first half. What was going on?
Well, they came out with a man on me and a zone on the rest of the team, and they really did a good job of keeping me out of the offense. I was somewhat impatient in the first half. I got a couple quick fouls, and it seemed to take me out of the flow of the game. But I was patient enough throughout the second half to get the shots that I could, and I was fortunate enough to be in a position to put us ahead at the end, and I was able to hit the shot.
Talking about putting yourselves ahead in the end, you have some great shooters. Greg Bender's one of them. Mark Gary's another. Why you at the three-pointer at the end of this ball game?
Well, I was just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I guess the play wasn't designed to go to me, but Greg looked up and saw me, and the clock was winding down, so, you know, I just had to put it up. And I was fortunate enough to get the kind roll and went in for it.
Greg Bender also joining me, sophomore forward for this basketball team. And Greg, you've had a great year so far, and you came in with a new coach. How was that?
Well, you know, we had an adjustment period at the start of the year. Anytime you have a new coach, you're going to adjust a little bit. But we got it rolling right now pretty good. You know, we lost a lot of one-pointers the other way at the start of the year. Maybe at the tournament time, we're going to get the one-pointers going our way.
When you went in at halftime, you only shot 30%. You were down by 6 points. Were you scared to go into the locker room and listen to what the coach had to say?
No, we were just tight. We missed a lot of inside shots the first half, and we know they'd fall the second half, but you know, we needed a three-pointer by the big guy to pull it out.
This conference is pretty even. I mean, everybody can beat everybody. You know, everybody likes Navy, of course, but 2 through 7, you guys are really well competitive. How do you look at the league as it stands?
Well, just like you said, I think anybody on any given night can win a ball game, and the tournament's still up for grabs. You know, you got Navy as the favorite, but I think we have a good shot. Richmond, James Madison, George Mason, so it's really up for grabs. Any team can win, like you said.
We talked about the winning shot. Got it right there on the monitor if we get a chance to look at it. Here you are. Tell me what happened.
Well, Greg, they were in a pressure situation. I had to be the relief man. Instead of passing the ball, I didn't think we'd have time, so I just threw it up. I was fortunate enough to get a roll for it, so I'm just glad we won.
Greg, one quick question real quick. You got Richmond American playing next. Who do you want to take on?
We're just happy to be playing tomorrow. It doesn't really matter to us. It's going to be a tough ball game either way. We beat both of them twice. I'm sure they're both going to be ready to play us, you know. We're going to be ready.
Do you have a favorite?
No, not at all. I'm just happy we won, and whichever team it is going to be tough, but I really don't have a favorite.
Great win for UNC Wilmington, and we'll be back with more CAA coverage. Well, in fact, I'll throw it over to Bill. He'll be back with more CAA coverage after this.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much. And you're talking to Brian Ralston. Kevin, I've known this young man a long time. Quite a class individual, and I think he put it in the capsule. He said East Carolina deserved to win. I'm still sitting here wondering how UNCW pulled the victory out.
Well, the only lead they had was there at the end of the game, and it was Ralston's three-pointer that did it for him. But you're right, he showed a lot of class in complimenting the East Carolina players because they've had an up-and-down season, and it really was difficult to handle that kind of loss when you get beaten like that on a last-second shot. I've been on both ends of it, and it's very hard to accept a loss like that. But that's tournament action, and first game was so exciting. I guess that's what's more to come here at the CAA tournament.
Well, let's talk about how the game developed. 48% shooting by East Carolina. UNCW only 22 of 61 from the floor, 36%. That certainly hurt him. The telling factor, East Carolina 12 of 19 from the line, 63%. Keith Sledge with the 1-and-1 situation at the end of the ball game, 5 seconds left, an 82% free throw shooter. And it just has to say it's destiny when he bangs that one off, and all of a sudden Brian Rowson bangs it into the other end.
Well, they had the opportunity to really seal the game with their free throw shooting, and ECU was doing a good job of making those free throws until the final one. And that 1-and-1 that he had, he missed. With 5 seconds left, they were able to pull that game out.
Brian Rowson ended up with 17 points and 11 rebounds. Mark Gary, first 37 minutes of the game, was 1 for 9. But with 26 seconds left, he hit the three-pointer that made it 56-54, and it was very important that at that point it was a two-point ball game. Marshall Henry, 18 seconds left, 60-56. East Carolina still in the lead. 7 seconds left. Rowson, the uncontested layup, and you talked about how important Sandy Anderson was at that point, making that decision for the possession and not the bucket.
Well, they played good percentage basketball. That they took what the defense would give them. They hit the three-pointer a couple times, and then they went to the two-point basket. And every time after they scored, they went into pressure defense to try to create a steal or a turnover. If they didn't get that, they fouled immediately. So it was very good coaching down the stretch by Robert McPherson, not giving up, playing the clock, and doing what he had to take to get the chance to win. And they've lost so many close games like that. Finally, they were able to win one.
And that's what the college game is all about, games like this. The CAA tournament, the first round, we've only got game number 1 under our belt. Coming up, Richmond and America next. Later tonight, Navy, William & Mary, JMU, and George Mason will be the nightcap. Great games on tap all the way. Right now, we'll take a commercial, but when we come back, George